Hi everyone, so today I am making Luscious lemon soap. Now normally I make this with coconut milk. This time I'm going to make it with a larger amount of goat milk just because I thought, you know what, it sounds luscious, so let's do this thing. Okay, so I've already blended in the kaolin clay. I'm getting ready to add the lye solution. This is a much more concentrated lye solution because I'm using less water to blend the lye solution so that I can add in this goat milk. Now, when you do it this way, you have to have at least the same amount of water to mix with your lye. I like to go on up by several ounces, but lye struggles to dissolve properly if it does not have at least an equal amount of liquid with it. And so I have reduced this water with my lye solution so it's a little bit, it's not thick, but it does kind of take on almost like a almost a simple syrup texture where it's still liquid but it's just a little bit thicker. And because I mixed up this solution 2 days ago, it has a little bit of lye lint that has built up. This is just from it reacting to the air from the cooling process. It's very normal, and if you are wanting to know more information about it, just go ahead and look it up. Now I have here a little strainer, and you'll see some lye lint in it already because I just completed another batch of soap just prior to this. So I'm going to use the same strainer, and I'm just going to strain my solution. It's doing pretty well, just little pieces here and there, and just for quality control. Oh, there we go with some bigger ones. But quality control, let's just get those out of there. It's not so much to cause a problem with the batch. It will just add just a smidgen higher super fat, really, is all it comes down to. Adding in this most luscious of goat milk. By adding the goat milk this way in kind of a 50-50 method, which it's not quite, I'm probably more like 60-40. By adding it this way, the lye has already bound to most of the oils, and so it does reduce the scorching, but it is not a full milk soap. I don't think a full milk soap is necessary. When you do full milk soap, you have to freeze the milk and all that, and I'm just too spontaneous to do that. Also, I don't tend to have the freezer space. You have to freeze quite a lot of milk for these large batches, and it just ends up being a pain for me. So I really like adding milks after trace. I'm gonna add in my fragrance. And it does look like a lot, but it's 5% of my oil weight. And it's following the IFRA standards. I have tweaked this just a little bit, so for those that have purchased Luscious lemon soap before, it is still mostly the lemon verbena, but I have added in a little bit of a citrus complement with a little bit of sweetness. I have blended this plenty already, so I'm going to go ahead and get this split off and colored. In the past, lemon verbena has moved very quickly. I've changed my design for it, this one in particular, so I think we'll be all right, but let's go ahead and get to moving. plenty thick. Into this one, I'm just going to add the majority of my lemon mica. Lemon drop mica is what it's called. I'm just going for a creamy yellow. I like to move the colored batter up so that it picks up some of that uncolored batter and brings it back down to mix in a little bit easier. Also helps not to have a weird color difference, like when you're scraping your pot at the end and you're grabbing all this up here to scoop the last bit in. Sometimes it'll be a little bit different colored. So that's pretty. That is what I wanted. I just wanted a nice creamy color, and creamy it is. So into this one here, it's getting quite thick. I'm gonna add in a little bit more of the yellow. I have just a little bit of a neon yellow. And then I'm gonna add in just a tinge of titanium dioxide, and I accidentally splattered a small amount of blue colorant into my titanium dioxide, so it is just a smidgen blue, but it's not gonna hurt anything. I try to scrape this stick blender, but I don't feel like I accomplished a whole lot. I'm going to start by putting just a little bit of this lighter color in, because the soap from the main will start to swirl it a little bit as it goes in. Not going to be a whole lot of swirling because this is pretty thick, as you can see. I normally work this in a like a faux funnel pour, and this has not been cooperating. So most of the fragrance manufacturers have had to reformulate due to a fire at a plant in Germany. So we tend to be working with a lot of new recipe fragrances, basically. I don't know how that affects, acceleration and all that, but it does seem like some of my fragrances aren't as easy to work with as they were before. I've scraped out the remainder of the soap the best I was able. Now my plan was just to use this little whisk to kind of swoosh it around, but it is pretty thick, so I don't know. I guess it's still gonna work. Just to bring some wispy swirls into it without doing a in the pot swirl, because it does get really thick, as you can see. So just look around. You can find all sorts of fun and different tools to work with. So I'm just adding the rest of the soap the lighter colored here to the top. I probably should have just gone ahead and put it in, but alright. We shall work with it in this manner. So I'm just going to see what can be done here. Just kind of give it a little texture. I do apologize for the air conditioner sound. I have a window unit up here in my studio, which is in the attic, and I'm not able to go without air conditioning right now. I'm already wearing a hoodie, so it's getting warm as it is. So I've turned the fan down, but I do still have to use the air conditioner. So it's either we listen to a little bit of air conditioner or no videos at all. I just thought maybe you'd still like to have some videos regardless. I think this is going to be a fine lemon goat milk soap. I will see you back here for the cut. Okay, so it's time to cut the Luscious lemon soap. And the coloring is very, very subtle between the two yellows. I think it's quite delightful. I was going for something very subtle. I like a pale yellow soap, I really do. Now I did use just a little bit of neon yellow, and so that is kind of showing itself just a bit, more so on the top I feel like than inside. I really like how the top of the loaf is just really swirly and whirly. That whisk made just a really nice design. It smells amazing. I love the little tweak I did to my fragrance blend. It's just super duper delightful. I noticed that my soap is sweating just a bit here. When I start doing videos, I do turn my air conditioner window unit down, and so the humidity does seem to rise just a bit during that time because I'm working in a studio, or an attic studio, and so right outside my door on days where it's 100 degrees, it's pretty much 140 right outside my little room, and I am almost smack dab in the middle of the attic, and the rest is not insulated. So it does get quite warm and humid in here if I don't keep that maintained. I really struggle to work with bath bombs for that reason, and that's why I haven't done just a lot of testing with bath bombs, is because my time is limited up here. I have run a dehumidifier, but I find it doesn't dehumidify enough for bath bombs. So I do okay at certain times of the year, and that's kind of when I play with it more. But when we're in the depths of summer in Missouri and it's 100 degrees and the humidity is staying at, you know, 60-70% or higher, that's without rain. That's what I don't particularly enjoy. I mean, if it's going to be hot and humid, I'd love it to rain just every other day or so, would be nice, but that does not happen in Missouri in the summer. I used to live in Florida, and Florida was actually a little bit nicer on the summer temperatures than even Missouri was. So that was always an interesting scenario. But anyway, that's the explanation if you happen to see a little bit of, oops, don't go away, guy. If you see a little bit of condensation forming on the top of my soap bars, it's completely normal and a reaction to an adjustment of humidity. So I wonder what it is right now. So it says that it's 57% humidity in my room. It says my room is 67.5 degrees. I find that a little bit unlikely. So I don't know, maybe that's off by a little bit. But either way, I love it up here, and when I have the air conditioner going, I feel great, and all is well and all is happy. But I do try to turn the air conditioner down, the noise down a little bit during the videos to help. Someday, I have dreams. Someday, I hope to build in Montana, and my dream is to have just either a shop or a room at the end of a house. I would be plenty happy with one of those metal building houses. We've also discussed having a cabin just to live in, a small one, and then just having a shop for the soap studio, my husband with all his toys and projects. But anyway, I'd just love to have a studio where the whole like 3 sides had windows, so I'd have a lot of natural light. I'd love to have a live room, basically a room with ventilation and windows specifically for mixing up lye solutions, where I could just leave the lye solutions in that room to cool. I just have a lot of ideas, and someday I'm going to live in Montana and I'm going to make it happen. So someday. But it's nice to have studios like this so that I know what I want when the time comes that I can actually build what I want. Alright, so there we have the Luscious lemon soap. Smells absolutely amazing and looks delightful. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.